right at the studio, yeah, I have this guy who is a movie freak, literally. He loves his movies so much. I mean, he's a movie critic. He likes to write about movies. He has been to a good number of screenings. He has seen like an amazing number of movies, and I really admire him so much because of the work he does. He's very, very passionate about the movie industry, and he's the right person that we had to bring for our conversation today, where we are looking about the progress that we've made as a movie industry, the things that we've learned, and how we can become better as as an industry. And right in the studio with me, I have Tony Asankoma. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, bro.
Are you sure you're fine?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm chill.
Wow, it's been it's a long while, the right word?
Yeah.
Or if there's even a word beyond a long while, that's what we have to use, right?
It's been long since I've been here, but this feels like home always, so I'm good to be here.
That's nice. But which was the last movie you watched, since you're a movie freak?
The last movie I watched, Ghanaian film or...
Anyone.
I think the last movie I watched would be a documentary film from the Encounter Film Festival that is titled Black People Don't Get Depressed.
Black people don't get depressed?
Yes.
Is it true that black people don't get depressed?
I don't think it's true, but...
You don't think it's true?
Yeah.
Anyways, I'll try to check it out. But hey, Tony, you're welcome to the chat. I mean, it's very good to have you here. Today we are talking about the movie industry, the progress we've made as an industry, what has gotten us to this point, the challenges and then the opportunities that we have in the Ghana movie industry and also the theater industry. But growing up, I was I used to love movies, right? I mean, now I'm more drawn towards documentaries and docuseries, but I used to love movies a lot, and I was very passionate about Ghanaian movies. When you talk about the David Dontos, the Mark Jordan Amates, the Grace Nortes, the Grace Omabo. I remember one very movie, Old Days, like That Day. I don't know if you remember. Fred Amugi was in there, and then Who Killed Nancy was also. I mean, I'm bringing back memories, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Good. And then now we made progress into like the Yvonne Nelson, John Dumelo, Majid Michel days and everything. And it looks like after that, we had the era of the Kumawood, and then we went off. What contributed to us being knocked off the scene for that long?
I'd say it's a plethora of reasons. I like to think that as creatives, complacency was one. It's one of the reasons, actually. But I think it all leads back to the fact that we lost the Ghanaian audience. And if you understand how the ecosystem for film works, you don't have a thriving film industry if you don't have an audience that is willing to go out and watch your films. And unfortunately for the Ghanaian film industry, I think at some point we lost the Ghanaian audience. The Ghanaian audience was more interested in seeing foreign content. They were more interested or more excited in seeing or paying money to go watch foreign content. And I think that sort of trickled down to a point where producers were not encouraged to put out more films, because what's the point in us or producers making films if there's no guarantee that they are going to make money out of the films? So I think the biggest challenge, or what led us to this point, is the fact that we lost the Ghanaian audience. But I think things are changing. Things are starting to look up. It's getting a bit more exciting than it has been in the last maybe 5 or 6 years. And we are seeing a resurgence in the energy in the Ghanaian film space.
All right. Did we, at any point in time, lose investment into the space? I'm asking this because it looks like just recently a few networks had like some investment plan, and then now it has revived the film industry. Did we lose energy when it comes to investment in the space?
I mean, if you talk to a lot of stakeholders in the film industry, i.e. the producers, the directors, they'll tell you that one of their biggest challenges is the lack of investment. And rightfully so, that's true. I think that it's an important part of the film ecosystem, but what's also important is that the money has to make money.
The money has to make money?
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
So if I'm an investor and I'm looking at the Ghanaian film space and I'm going to put my money into the Ghanaian film space, there has to be some form of guarantee that I'm going to make my money back. Okay. I'm sure there are a lot of people that have invested in music and it has paid off for them, or have invested in other parts of our creative arts and you've seen the investment. And I think film is that part of our creative arts that is yet to see the most investment. Even though it, in theory, film business is the most lucrative of the forms of arts.
Really?
Yes. If you think about it, if you even look at the global box office numbers for some films, or even, let's not even go far, let's look at our neighboring countries and how much money they are able to make from their film industry alone. It should tell you that film is a very good place to put money into. But unfortunately, there's no guarantee actually for investors to know that they can make their money back once they put their monty in. So I think that has added to the challenges for
so if you're saying film, because it also, yeah, it looks the most lucrative, but it's like that's also one thing that has like one of the biggest and the most like expansive budgets that you can think of. So if I am an investor and like it's looking very expansive, right? And I know I'm not going to make money. Yes, I wouldn't want to invest into it. But are producers also giving us the content that would encourage the investors to also invest into it?
Good. That's another way to look at it. Because remember from the beginning, I said that we lost our audience.
Yeah.
And we lost our audience because they felt dissatisfied with the quality of work that we're giving to them. And that's why they would lean on other markets or other territories for their entertainment. And it's rightfully so. If for film to make sense or for film to sell well, it has to make monetary, it has to be a good film. And it starts from there. I think the challenge now particularly is on our creatives to be a bit more intentional and specific and particular about doing their best to ensure that whoever brings money into the industry or whoever invests in the industry, they are able to come out with products that are, that can sell. Bear in mind also that when you are doing film business, you are not looking just at the Ghanaian audience. It should be content or movies that can sell beyond the borders of Ghana, because we have how many people in Ghana, right? And I don't think that you can make all your money that you can from your film in just Ghana. You need to have a product that is good enough to sell to other markets or other territories as well. So yes, that's the challenge now for creators, particularly now that there's a resurgence of the Ghanaian film industry. I think the challenge is for filmmakers to be a bit more creative, to be a bit more intentional and particular about the stories that they choose to tell, to make sure that they have products that can be sold.
Do you think we lack variety in our storytelling right here in Ghana?
I've always maintained for a very long time that one of our biggest challenges is storytelling. I'm not going to lean so much to variety, because what is variety? I think a story can be as simple as a boy meets girl. It could be, these stories are over and over, but the way you tell the story is what would add value to it. It could be, we've seen Hollywood do it over and over, where they recycle their stories all the time, and then people are excited about it. But you go and watch it, and you're like, it's the same themes, it's the same plot, it's the same essence, but they are able to add some, some spice to it to make it more valuable. So I think that really is a challenge for our creatives, because we are struggling, and I've always maintained that one of our biggest problems is the quality of our storytelling.
How well can we tell our stories?
How well?
Yeah.
I think we can. We have the potential and the capabilities to do that. I believe firmly in the prospects of the Ghanaian film industry and the talents of our creatives, because I've read some amazing scripts. I've seen some amazing Ghanaian films. I've been in conversations around some films that I feel so excited about. But then again, it's a gradual process. It's not an overnight fix. We are not just going to wake up one morning and everyone will be excited about Ghanaian films. It will probably take us years of continuous effort. It will probably take us years of intentional progress to sort of win the audience back. Because when we win the audience back, we are guaranteed that when you have a film, people are going to pay money to watch it. You make more money, and then you can reinvest in film. And then now you can approach an investor and say, look at what I did with this budget. This is how much I was able to make from this film.
But you see, that's the data that we lack. You get, because right now, if you should call a producer and tell him, oh, okay, you shot this film, let's say 10 years ago, can you run me through the data when it comes to the film? I can bet you like a good number of them wouldn't be able to pull up any data.
Well, that's also true, and that's important. That you see, the ecosystem has so many areas that need to be filled. There are people that should also think about the business side of filmmaking and leave the creative side to the filmmakers, right? Because it becomes a challenge. Because when you speak to most filmmakers, they struggle with how they are going to sell the film. But I believe that people should fill those spaces and be like, okay, I'm going to take this film as a product and be able to sell it. Likewise, people should be finding ways to collect data or have that information readily available. Fortunately for us, I can say our foremost cinema, which is Silverbird Cinema, is now being a bit more upfront with data. They are able to, periodically let us know how much a certain film sold or how well a certain film did when they were in the cinemas. So the data is available, we just need people to collect it.
But isn't movies also expensive to watch for the Ghanaian audience, which is why we will lose our audience? Because I remember when I was very young, we used to have cinemas, in our neighborhoods, and I was about to use a certain expression, but we used to have these cinemas, and then the papers we pasted on the walls, and they would tell us, oh, this movie is showing at this time, and it was very, very cheap to go see and watch and be able to enjoy. Right now, all those cinemas have been turned into, all right, let me not say it, but then now we have, like you mentioned, we've all been streamlined into one spot for our movies to be able to enjoy our movies and everything. Isn't that, or hasn't that also hurt the Ghanaian film industry?
That's also true. We have a deficit when it comes to cinema, and for every thriving film industry, one of the key indicators is how well films are doing at the cinema, or how strong the cinema culture is. Unfortunately, we do not have a strong enough cinema culture. It was rising a bit before COVID. COVID hit, and then it went back down, and now it's starting to...
It's picking up.
Pick up a bit. And it's obvious because we do not have that many cinemas, and that also translates into how much it costs for the cinema to charge per ticket. Because I believe if we had more cinemas and it made, if there are more screens, if there are more avenues for people to see film, it would be easier for the producer or whoever is behind the film to want to charge less on the tickets, hence allowing more people to go to the cinema, allowing more people to see the film, and then eventually adding to the conversation of our growing cinema culture. So yes, I think it's important that we pay attention to the cinema side of the business as well. People should invest in that space as well. People should look at the gap that is left and try to fill that gap, and I'm sure it will go a long way into reviving or contributing to the growth of our industry. All right.
I mean, we are having a good time right here in the studio, and then also Eden Bar will be giving us some really good non-alcoholic cocktails. So yeah, just take a stay, because I mean we'll be enjoying ourselves, having such a good time. Joining us in the studio is one very fine woman. She fine. And also, the newest producer you can think of when it comes to movies right here in Ghana. She recently invested into making sure she shoots a movie to contribute to the film industry in Ghana. And who else to join us in the studio than the one and only Citi.
Oh, Uncle.
Did I mention it right?
You did fantastic.
Wow.
I always wait for that because people get it wrong most times.
Yeah,
but well done.
People say Citi.
Yes.
By Citi.
Yes.
Oh my God. My
fantastic.
You've
been eating a lot of okra lately.
I've been eating a lot of okra, akple,
abobitadi. Girl.
No, I don't get away woman. No. Them already break my heart. Yeah, them already break my heart, so Charlie. I don't get away woman. But hey, I've been styled by Doji's Closet, so Charlie. Thank you very much, Doji's Closet, for putting me on and making me look so dapper and fine. Right from here, I'm heading to the TGMS. Are you going for the TGMS right after
Most
this?
likely.
Most likely. Oh wow, it's a bit shower. Right. Who are you expected to pick Artist of the Year? You better not speak.
I better not speak.
All right. Now, Tony, you?
Well, I made the best man win.
With the best man win.
Yeah.
This is actually, there was no woman.
That's a very smart one.
Yeah. Anyways, but would move on, or we'll make progress with the conversation because we have Sichope here, who is also a movie producer. And I just want to understand what actually inspired you to go into the production of movies. Looking at, and I was actually giving Tony like a brief history of where we've come from the Mame Dokno, the Freda Mugi, the Samajete few days, to the Yvonne Nelson and John Dumelo era, and then we entered into the Kumawood era, and then we were knocked off for a bit, and then now we are coming back. What actually inspired you, looking at this history, to say, regardless of this history, we've been off the scene for a while, but I still want to invest into movies?
Well, for me, it was one, I felt I was ready to tell a story, and two, as an actor, you want to act, and sometimes when you sit and wait to get that role that you probably have been itching to play for some time, you start to feel like, okay, how about I start telling my own stories? It's not for everyone, I would say, because even when you look at Hollywood, not all the actors are venturing into producing. But I guess when a path is set for you, a lot of things will not work in your favor until you get on that path that is set for you. And so I just got to that point where I was itching to tell my own story and also itching to play certain roles that I feel like I wasn't being given. And so this is just the beginning of hopefully a lot of other things to come.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the storytelling bit is what inspired you to tell it.
Yeah.
But then again, I was asking Tony before you came on is, how different can we tell our stories? Because it looks like a lot of people are able to say, oh, Ghana movie way. From the title, I know how it's going to end. You know, and I feel like that's also something that is hurting the industry, but we are not taking note of it because a lot of people are like, oh, it has Yvonne else, it had Majid Michelle. Oh, I know it will end with them falling in love with each other.
Exactly.
Or both of them. How different can we be telling our story so that we'll be able to like capture the suspense, yes, of our audience?
I think for me, I've always come from the angle of there is nothing new under the sun, one. And so we should look at who are those doing it best at the moment. Hollywood is doing fantastic work. Nigeria is doing fantastic work. South Africa is doing fantastic work. I think I've had this discussion with Tony before with regards to pace. I love South Africa for their pace. I love Nigeria for their innovativeness. Every day they are coming up with something new. You watch a Nigerian film today, I think, you know, this is the best Nigerian film I've watched. And next year they are going to wow you with something else. We should always think of, if we can always think of upping our game every year or with every next project that comes out, that would help us. So definitely, since there's nothing new under the sun, let's be inspired by those who are doing amazing work and toe the same line they are towing. So simple.
But wouldn't that contribute to copying them, Tony?
No, it's not copying. Let's say, if I see that someone has done a movie, for lack of a better description or example, Pascalaka has done a movie in black and white, Gold Coast Lounge. It's fantastic. We all love it. That's something new. That's innovative. It's not new per se in terms of nobody has ever done that, but it's new in terms of our time. And so then now what? As a filmmaker, what else can I do? What can I do that is also different from what everybody is doing? That's my angle. Not necessarily go and also do black and white. But since someone did it and it worked, something new for our era, what can I also do which is new for our era, which hopefully nobody has done? So there's nobody you can go and ask for advice from, but you do it because art is subjective anyway, you know? So you do it not thinking, oh, because everybody is telling a Majid and Yvonne story, you see Majid and, you know, tell something else, tell something new and fresh, and you'd be amazed. It won't always work, but...
Yeah. But, Tony, do we have... this will be a very interesting question to ask. Do we have enough actors? Because it looks like we are recycling the same people on screen over and over and over and over again. Don't you think people are going to get tired of seeing the same people over and over again?
So the first question you asked is, do we have enough actors? And I'll double up and say, what's enough? Like, what quantity is enough? I think that we have a lot of talent. My only challenge when it comes to that is that it gets boring or it gets tiresome when you see the same actors playing the same roles over and over again. That is when the audience gets tired. But when there are challenging stories, there are challenging scripts that encourage us to see different perspectives or different angles of that actor, nobody gets tired of it. But if you are seeing Sicho play the same role all the time, of course you get to a point she becomes one-dimensional. You are not interested in seeing her because you know what it's going to be like. But if Cicho is challenged to play different roles all the time, and I believe that we have the quality of actors that we need to sustain our industry. And there are more coming up. There are more young talents that are well, hungry for the spotlights, and are also hungry to showcase their talents. And we see that all the time. But the challenge really is, are we telling the stories that brings out the best
in them?
Because that's what really matters at the end of the day. If I see Cicho in a film that is different from her last film, I would want to see the next film that Cicho is in. But if Cicho is playing the same role all the time,
it's like a Nigerian actor. No, I'm not going to mention his name, but if I give the description, you'll be able to tell. Every movie I have watched of him,
he's played a chief.
He's either played a chief, so there's that man, and then also he's always making sacrifices. Every movie, he has to kill somebody and be able to make money. And it got to a point when I see him where I'm like, oh, he's going to kill someone, and then it's going to, end up.
But he has a reason. If I know who you are talking about, he has a recent film that he plays a very interesting role.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which role does he play?
But it's also along the lines of leadership kind of thing. Yeah.
But that was much better.
That was much better.
I argued that was his best role I've seen in a very long time.
All right, now Cicho, is it difficult being a producer in Ghana?
It's extremely difficult. It's excruciating. I've never felt any pain like I've felt attempting to produce my own film.
Really?
Honestly.
What makes it difficult?
One, putting people together. You'd be amazed. Once you set out on this journey to produce your own film, then you're looking at putting actors together, putting crew together, putting people in post-production together. So you're looking at sound, editing, sound scoring, color grading, all those people, putting them together. It's lots of work. Finding directors that work with the line of film or the type of or the genre of film you're trying to shoot is another angle. There's so much work. Aside from the financial aspect, the work of dealing with these people in our industry, I don't think you know,
I like the silence is deafening.
I don't like to lie about some of these things, because what then happens is you paint a certain picture which is not true, and then other people want to come in with the expectation of what you have said, and it makes me sad. If I'm to tell the truth about the experience of making a film in Ghana, it's not exactly an exciting one, because everybody you attempt to work with doesn't see the vision you have. Or what you are trying to create. I think a lot of us down here are very, for lack of a better word, very selfish with the craft. Everybody wants, if it's not theirs, they don't really care that much. And so that approach, you see it from from an editor, from a crew member. When something is going wrong on sets, nobody really cares. It can go wrong so long as it's not theirs. From even your fellow actors you've worked with on other projects, and you're thinking, oh, these people will come on the project and they'll hold it like it's their own, because they're my friends.
Yeah.
You know, so you're thinking to yourself, they will see it as their own baby. Yeah. I could, to be very fair also to a few of the actors who were on my projects, for example, some of them came with their whole soul to the project. And if I'm to sit here and just say everything was bad, it would also be unfair to them. Some of the actors really came out with and touched the project with their soul. But the majority of the actors on the project really didn't care. That's just the honest truth. And then the majority of the crew didn't care. So everything could go wrong on set and nobody cared. So long as they've taken their money and everything is okay, they've done what they can do, and they'll go home and sleep and nobody cares. And it's painful. Yeah. When you've collected money from all kinds of places, done all kinds of things, told all kinds of stories to get the money.
I can see how passionate you are getting about this. Yeah. It's getting passionate. Idiba, can you put us on? Give us some cocktails. Let me cool Cicho down, because it looks like you know. Yeah.
So when you've gone through all that to get money to shoot a film, and all you see is the lack of passion, the lack of drive, and the lack of interest in getting a good project out. Because look, I've been on other people's projects, and I remember I was on a project last year, and the costumier was a costumier from another set, and the costumier had brought the same costumes from the previous set, and some of those costumes I had worn
in the
that
previous movie.
exactly, in that other production, and then she was wearing them for me again. So I said, that doesn't make sense. That's a different project, and this is me saying that it is not good for the film.
Yeah.
And then I'm also sitting there looking at my character that I'm playing in this. This character is supposed to have this home, live in this, one of these homes like Eden Heights, like one of these nice fancy apartments. I own the home. I'm a medical doctor. I'm single. Like I come from an affable home, and I'm wearing some of these clothes that look like an average. So I'm like, it's not in line.
Yeah.
I'm observing everything of the character to say that this is not in line. But most actors.
Yeah. Anyways, I can feel your pain and I can understand, where you are coming from. But Tony, do you you see sometimes we have the talents, but then it's like we are putting square pegs in round holes. Do you think that is also something that we need to deal with in our movie industry?
I think, well, first of all, when you are casting, if you are speaking about talent and you are going to look at casting, for instance, if you are casting somebody for a role, they should be the right person for the role. That's one. Even for production, even those behind the camera, you need to get the right people on your production team. And it happens that, of course, because of whatever reason, the wrong people end up playing.
Okay, now let me give you an
roles.
example of this whole square pegs in round holes that I was talking about. So we are looking at maybe a scene where we are looking at an old man. I am just sick and tired of getting a young man like myself, putting powder on his head, and then forcing me to walk very slow. When naturally I would be walking fast, I would talk fast, but I am forced to talk slow. And you realize that it some way, somehow takes away from me because everybody knows this person. I know Tony to be a young man. They are telling me in a movie that Tony is an old man.
So yeah, here's my thoughts on this. This is a debate that has been going on for long. Here's my thoughts on this. If you have somebody who is old enough to play the role, cast them, right? But it's not wrong to have a young actor play an older role. And yet, this is why.
Why? Okay, tell me why.
It could be, you don't know the timeline of the film. It could be that this character is aging in the film. That character is playing a younger age and is going to play their old age. Casting itself is an issue. You can't cast somebody that looks different from the actor, right? So you would want to probably age the actor up to fill up the role of their older self. That works, right? But in a scenario like, okay, I mean, it's just a standalone role, and then you cast a very young person to play an older person, that can also work if you get your makeup and your costuming right. And then also if the performance is good enough. Because Hollywood does it. Let's not kid ourselves. There are several films where we see people. I know someone is going to watch this thing and is going to be like, this guy always references Hollywood.
No,
but it's done.
Yeah. Now, when we talk about this young people being casted as old people, now I have this movie, Coming to America.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy played like 3-4 roles.
Yes.
But until the end credits,
You never know.
nobody knew.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Do you get? So that's why I'm saying that, can we do it that same way so that nobody would know?
That's my point exactly.
Yeah.
If you get your makeup and your costuming right and the performance is good enough, no one would care. If you make me up to look like an old man and costuming and I kill the role, no one would care that it's a young Tony who is playing that role. You see where the dynamics are.
Yeah.
But then if you can't get the best performance from the actor, you can't get the makeup right, you might as well just cast an older person to play the role. That's my argument.
All right.
Because, yeah.
No, please finish.
Yeah, because it works either which way.
Yeah.
But it's the execution that really matters, honestly. Yeah.
And I think to add to what Tony is saying, sometimes the ideal thing would also be that when a producer is casting a younger actor to play an older actor, sometimes it's because you want to add some level of humor to the thing. Okay. Not necessarily because you want to take the role away from someone who is existent in playing it. Because for something like an older person, when an actual older person is playing it, it may not be as funny as when a younger person is trying to mimic an older person. So when you are trying to add a bit of comedy to it.
Yeah. But as a character required to be
exactly
funny.
So if it doesn't require it, by all means don't.
All right. I mean, we are having such a fine and a wonderful time here in the studio. Your cocktails are here. I mean, I can see Tony has something nice. Citi also has something nice, as bright as herself.
Yes.
And then I also have something very, very sweet and amazing as well. But hey, we are enjoying ourselves. We are having a good time. But I want to actually show you one of the newest projects right here in Ghana. And I mean, we'll be playing it whilst we have a short discussion about it, and to know, like, you know, where we've come from and how far we've come and the progress that we are making in the movie industry. Let's enjoy this one. I can see Auntie Amanda in the, I think this is her newest production. And I mean, it's just good to see her doing so well, you know, with this movie and everything. But I mean, I don't know if Tony, I don't know if you've seen this one.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. It's a TV series.
It's a TV series. You've not seen it yet.
I haven't seen all the episodes yet. But
Wow.
I've seen the trailer. Yeah.
You've seen the trailer. I mean, I love the trailer. I love what I'm seeing here, and it looks like, I don't know, but guys, our pictures right now are amazing. Are you as shocked as well? Because it looks like right now we are shooting some, you know, good pictures.
I'm not shocked. I'm excited.
You're excited?
Yes, I'm
Wow.
excited.
Oh wow, that's nice. That's nice. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know, and Eden Bar, I mean, is giving us amazing cocktails. Eden Bar is giving us amazing cocktails. I'm also, I mean, styled by Doji's Closet, so I'm looking good thanks to Doji's Closet. And the last, or the final person, our guest for today, has joined us in the studio. We are talking to Auntie Amanda. Is it Gisa or Gise?
It's GC.
She's
But please don't
GC.
call me auntie, you kill my market.
Oh,
I'm a very young woman. I'm a teenager, I beg you.
Yeah, what?
I'm a teenager.
Yeah, what?
I'm a teenager.
Wow. I remember the last time I saw you.
Yeah?
It was in church actually, and
Hey.
I was very, very
Church?
excited. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Do you want me to mention the church? Assemblies of God.
Assemblies of God?
Yeah.
Where?
Okay, I'll tell you. I'll tell
Tell
you.
me, because
I'll tell
the
you.
last time I went to Assemblies of God was like,
East Airport.
oh, this is like
Yeah.
check.
that was-
20 years.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So you understand.
That's
But hey,
interesting.
I mean, she's the producer of the movie that we just saw. We saw there.
I featured in it.
You featured. I mean, yeah,
Hey,
you featured in it. Sorry,
Shani
but you're also a
Olashi.
producer. No. Sorry, but you're also a producer.
Yes, I am a producer
Yeah.
as well, but I
You featured
yes,
in this
I was
one.
an
I think we
actress
both
featured in
yes.
that as well.
Yes.
You also
yes,
featured in
yes, yes.
How was it to be on set? How was it for both of you?
We never had a scene together.
We didn't have a scene together, but
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have a
So you
scene
can
together.
actually shoot one movie, but then
Of
not have a
course.
scene together.
My
Of course.
location was totally different.
Totally
from
different
hers.
from mine.
Yes.
You are telling me something new today.
You could shoot a whole series for 1 year and you never meet certain
Yeah.
actors on set ever because
Yeah.
your paths are not crossing in the project.
Oh.
Yeah.
Me in my head, once you're shooting a series, everybody that matters in the movie must be there.
In your life, are there people whose paths have crossed in your life? People that you know.
Even
Let's say your side
even
chick
in
and
the
your
same
girl and your wife, their
company.
paths will never
Hey,
cross.
see, Joanne, you
You know what I'm saying?
let's not even go far.
Okay.
You always go to your newsroom.
I mean, technically, yes.
So that's how, no, not all the time.
Not all
right?
the time.
Exactly. That's how it works.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
All right. But how, looking at you as an actor, how lucrative is the space in Ghana? You didn't make money.
Oh, bloody. It depends on who you're working with.
It depends on who you're working with.
And it also depends on the kind of contracts that you end up signing.
Okay.
If you have that bargaining power, sometimes it would work for you. You know, so I will not deceive you. The grass is not that green as it looks. We're all just trying our best.
We're all
Both
just
the
trying.
actors, the producers, whoever, we're all trying our best. But there is a huge land for improvements, not a room.
There's a huge land for improvement. What can we do better in our
Look,
movie industry?
invest, put some more money into it.
But
That's what we can do better.
are the producers making a strong case for investors to invest into it?
Well, even if they really are, most of the time we don't really get to know what goes behind the doors. You know, when the negotiations take place, no one will come to you and tell you the figures involved in any production. No. And even if they do, it doesn't mean that they're going to give you a bigger portion. Because so much goes into movie making. If I'm going to have to use, you know, this part of your building. You're not going to give it to me for free because I'm going to be using your power. I'm going to pay for power. There's going to be a standby generator. If you have A-list actors, they are coming in with their own demands. You know, I understand them, but some of them need to do better.
Some of them need to do better. Sicho, are there any untapped spots in Ghana that we can go into when it comes to the movie industry?
When you say sports, please.
So I'm looking at locations, storytelling.
Oh, there's so many locations. There's so many stories. There are endless stories, I believe. The locations there. People are building every day. That's one. There are new communities coming up every day. That's another one. There are places we haven't traveled to go and shoot. That's also another one. And again, if you there was a question you asked Amanda about money.
Yeah.
I also think another thing that has not been spoken about is the fact that is there the money to give?
Is there the money to give? You
Have
tell me.
we positioned ourselves worthy of that money? In that, are we creating content or projects that one, the corporate world will see and say, okay, I'm willing to invest in this? Because I think that's the root of the problem. If we don't deal with that problem as a root, we will play around in circles. We will always come back to that.
All right.
That's my take.
I think there's there are quite a number of yes to the questions because Nigerians are doing same.
Exactly.
And people are investing in it. So why not the Ghanaian film industry?
All right.
Why not?
Now, Tony, has VODs, right, affected our industry, or it has rather given us an opportunity?
I think to a large extent it has, because from the beginning I said that the dynamics of every thriving film industry starts with cinema, right? But we've gotten to a point we're struggling with our cinema culture, and now there's VOD. And the average audience is looking at it that if I can watch this film on my phone, why again should I go to cinema, right? And we are at that disadvantage because the audience is so comfortable now watching content from their homes than rather willing to pay, leave home and go to the cinema. Already we don't have that many cinemas. So VOD has sort of come to take that position, come to fill that void, and it is at the disadvantage of cinema. Because when you look at the business behind film, and trust me, when you look at other territories, a lot of the money does come from cinema. You can think about VOD as an easy way to reach the audience, but that too comes with its challenges, because the biggest of VOD challenges is piracy.
Piracy, okay.
If you put your film out online today, on whatever streaming platform where people are supposed to pay and watch, within the next 4 hours, it was going to end up somewhere for free. You get it?
So you always a website.
Yes. So you might think that, okay, I've made a film, I'm going to put up a paywall and make sure that people pay to watch the film. You might think that that's the best route for you, but within the next 4 hours, if you dare anybody, if you dare me, I can find a way to get it. I can find a way to get it somewhere for free.
Yeah.
That is the challenge of VOD.
Yeah.
But when you are looking at cinema, if you look at the business model for film, there are films that go directly to VOD, and there are films that go directly to cinema or go through cinema before they end up on VOD. And that's the product life cycle, or that's the channel or the cycle for film. It goes to cinema, makes chunk of the money, and then now the producers or the studio behind the film can now afford to put that film on streaming platform where it becomes essentially free. Because if it's released on, let's say, Netflix today, in the next 3 hours, I can find it on something.com. You understand?
Yeah.
So that is the challenge. I think we have to find a way to revive our cinema culture. It's important. Anybody that does not want to pay attention to that space is not in support of the growth of our industry. Because cinema is where chunk of the money in film is. Cinema is where people feel like they are involved. Think about it. When you go out, when you pick a day and say, I'm leaving house with your significant other to go and watch a film at the cinema, it's a different feeling than you are in your house and you are you know.
What's the different feeling?
I mean, it's an experience. Cinema in itself is an experience.
I agree.
And you can't take that away from film. The essence of film is to have you lost in the moment.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't really enjoy film when I'm watching at home because I don't have the luxury to pause and rewind.
Yeah.
So I don't pay attention because I know whatever happens, I will pause and I will come back, right? I could be multitasking and not focus on the film, so I might not enjoy it as much. But if it's in the cinema, you know you've paid some money, you have just a limited time
To get out of there.
to watch the film, so your attention is different.
Yeah.
Your focus is different. You enjoy it, and you take something away from the film. Okay, so it's important that we find ways to lead back to our cinema culture. I find it interesting that there are still people that feel like going to the cinema is a luxury when it shouldn't be a luxury. It should be like going to sit at the Blue Kiosk and drinking one beer. It should be something that you add to your
Lifestyle.
your lifestyle. Exactly. It should be something that you do either for fun, to distress, or to just purely because you want to have a good time.
All right. Now, I wonder, how excited do you become when you look at what we've been able to do in the past couple of years? Because it looks like in the past couple of years, we've been very deliberate with back-to-back releases when it comes to movies. How excited does it make you, being an actor, a producer, somebody who plays a key role in this whole industry?
For me, I concentrate more on the growth and the fact that, you know, we're not behind when it comes to production. What others are doing, we're doing it, and it's not as if we're not capable of doing it, but the funds are not there. Whatever movie you're watching on whatever channel or Netflix or whatever, there are producers in Ghana who can equally do same and even do better. But the means is not there. And so for me, if you look at the old movies and you look at the current one, if you look at the productions, we've really we've grown. Even when it comes to costumes, when it comes to makeup.
Are you sure? I enjoyed the John Dumelo, Yvonne Nelson days of costume where we tried to
They are still acting.
portray, but where we tried to portray like the king and then the queen kind of feel.
It depends on the storyline.
I mean, one of the key, this movie,
It
Princess Tyra. Oh my gosh.
So you want them to put, those chains on their head and all that. You don't want them to wear crowns now?
I mean, I enjoy it.
That's the growth I'm talking about.
Okay.
That's the growth I'm talking about. I mean, if you watch Ultimate Paradise and you watch Madame, you can tell the difference. But you can still feel the quality in the production and also in the storyline. Okay, so for me, I really look out for the growth, and we've really come far. But like I said, we can do better than we're doing now.
We can do better than we are doing now. Now, Sicho, can you tell us what's the future? How does the future look like for the Ghana movie industry? Being a producer and also an actor.
I think it's exciting. There's a ray of hope in there. If the right things are done and the right lessons are learned from whatever it is we are doing now or we've done in the near past, there is hope. For the future.
Yeah. And I mean, if you have anything to tell your fellow producers, those who are scared to go into it because, the budget is too big, I mean, what would you tell them?
They have a reason to be scared.
Here's the thing. They don't just have a reason to be scared. There is a reason to be scared. Be scared. Please be scared. It's not the grass is not green.
Experience.
Yeah.
The grass is not green, but if you have a story, by all means tell it. You'd be amazed the number of people my story had touched. And people who have DM'd me and said, I was literally crying in the cinema. I'm like, really? So tell your story. Tell your story. And I think a lot of us also, the challenge is you want it to be perfect the first time. But if you don't try and learn from your mistakes. I was reading a book from an actor's book recently. I was actually listening to a podcast and he said, there is no lesson you can learn in any classroom like doing it. You will only learn by doing when it comes to making film.
Right.
So I think if you have a story and you have that passion to tell it, please tell it. Don't let anybody stop you. Make all your mistakes and learn from the next one and keep telling it.
All right. Thank you guys so much. I've had like such a good time. I've had a fun time here. I feel like we can make a toast to the future of Ghana. Yeah, because see, when I opened, right, I was talking about the progress we've made, and I spoke about a movie called That Day, Diabolo.
I remember
Hey,
Diablo.
Diabolo. Stab in the dark.
Yeah, Stab in the Dark.
Harvest
Who killed
Road to
Nancy?
Harvest
Come to me or
at 17.
Yeah, who killed Nancy? Which other one?
Have you watched Harvest at 17?
Come again?
Harvest at 17.
Harvest at 17,
Martin, Missing Children.
Probably I was too young.
There are a lot of films that
Why are you
can
guys
think
making me
back.
feel like some old woman?
But you see,
There was this one that had a song that I liked so much. Nico.
Oh, Sekina.
What was the title of that film?
Matters of the Heart.
Yes,
No,
that's
was it?
Martin
oh
Garrix.
wow,
Coco.
Matters
Amanda
of
is
the
giving
Heart.
us all the gist,
Yeah.
you know?
Edie Coco,
But-
right?
In Every Gardens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're running
was
through
Every
the...
Gardens.
Yeah, that's
But-
Every
Oh my
Gardens.
goodness.
There is a very small concern I want to know, right? Is it true that women are actually taken advantage of in the film industry?
If you allow yourself
If you
to.
allow yourself, yeah.
You allow yourself?
I like the response.
Wow.
Yeah.
Any experience you can share?
No, I haven't had any experience. And do you think that even if a producer has something to do with you, you can actually even talk about... Because truth is sometimes some of them offer themselves.
Because they want to have the role.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, and sometimes too, some are forced to, but I have not experienced that before. And where I've gotten to now with my age, I'm not going to experience it.
Oh, you're still 16. So.
I'm still 16, yeah, but you know, I'm not chasing after
yeah.
the exposure like an upcoming,
Yeah.
you know. So
Big deal.
I don't know what deal you're going to offer me that would make me want to.
But if
go
you have any
that low.
advice, I mean, both of you, for any young, because you see, right now, people are chasing the limelight to the extent that they are willing to go any extent to become the lead actor in any role.
You see, let me tell you something. You can advise them and tell them everything. This is what I will tell you. Use your head because the past will come to haunt you.
Exactly.
The what?
Use your head because the past is waiting to haunt you in the future.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because you know, let me tell you this. I think a decade ago, or yeah, somewhere thereabouts, there was this, let me call him wannabe producer, who had attempted that with me and said, "Oh, you have to come to my house for the script." I said, "Why do I have to come to your house?" Because I had questions. Because I wasn't just off the streets trying to want the fame. For me, I was willing to do the work or put in what was necessary to get the part. I was willing to be deserving of the role, not to go and sleep with someone for the role. I think thankfully, when you know who you are and you are grounded in something, it helps. Go to school, for example. Don't just want to be an actor and off the streets jump into the thing and want to be. Then you sleep with every Tom, Dick, and Harry in the industry, from crew member to producer themselves to you name it. You know, so know yourself. For me, that's very important. And have some worth. Because once you have that, anybody who comes around nothing is phasing you. You're not in a rush, for lack of a better word. So that was what happened. And recently I saw him somewhere and I was like, my God, if I had actually agreed to doing that, I would have really hated myself.
You sound
You
like
know?
he failed in life, like he's not doing better.
Yes.
He's not doing
He's not
better
even
now.
producing anything anymore. That's how bad it
Boy.
is. So, and even back then, I don't know how many things. And this was someone who was telling me that other people he's done that with who have really become big names.
Oh. Is
But
he trying
that's how
to-
bad
Sounded
it
like
can
he's
get.
got the
So-
magic stick.
So I always tell people, please, know that you are worth what you are doing. Have some substance to come to the table with. Otherwise, some of them, I've heard stories where some of them have even done things with these girls. They get on the set and they are not playing the role, and then they take the role from them and give it to someone else.
And I've also heard this story.
You've heard a lot.
Oh yeah.
You've heard a
No,
lot. It's
to be honest,
interesting how the people who are not in the industry, they hear so much
Yeah.
more
Yes,
than...
yes.
because I've heard this thing that you can actually shoot a whole scene, but then the final product will come out and your scene is not in there. Somebody has.
Possible.
It's very possible.
But what would make such a thing happen? Is it that you're not good enough, or you didn't play the role well enough?
Especially when you've not acted the role well and the director is probably not happy. Because I've gotten a call
Sometimes
from a
when it gets
producer
to the
like that.
editing bench, they realize that okay, she didn't deliver. Or he didn't
she wanted
deliver.
to reshoot it, so she called me to come and reshoot that scene. Somebody else had shot it and they didn't like
Didn't
it.
go well.
Wow. And you don't tell them.
Well, sometimes you can't tell them.
But why can't you?
I know, right?
You should be able to tell them, right?
It's a
Some
very
will.
tricky industry. Some
Some
will.
will.
If you are lucky.
Some will.
Some won't.
And sometimes that'll be the end of it.
Yeah.
The phone calls won't come anymore.
Yeah, because I mean, I'll be so embarrassed if I've told all my friends, Charlie, this movie is coming out. Go and see me over there.
That's why you need to wait for the end product.
And then
before
1
you
hour,
go
30
back.
minutes elapses, and then my friends are sitting and they're like, when is the scene coming?
But sometimes, I think it's, especially with the scene cards, sometimes you may play like 4 scenes in the film or 5 scenes in the film, and due to other technical reasons, a particular scene may be taken out of the film. Because I'm saying this because of my experience of post-production. Sometimes the film is so long, and some parts of the story just needs to be taken out because it's not really adding or taking out if you take it out. So you take it out and it may affect a particular actor, but
It is what it is.
yeah, because there was an actor in my film who shot one scene, and that was the scene we were taking out, and he ended up not being in the film.
Yeah, well.
But he has been paid.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All
Yes.
right.
No, but you see, it's not really about the money. Oh.
Yeah,
It's about being on the screen.
You know, that's an actor's actual reward.
Yeah, that's your capital.
Yes, doing it and seeing the end product.
Yeah.
The money is like secondary, honestly.
All right. But Tony, you being somebody who enjoys watching movies, and probably this would be my last. I'm enjoying the conversation so much I can go on and on
That's
and on.
fine.
But being somebody who enjoys watching movies, how important is attention span when it comes to shooting movies for producers?
That's a very interesting question because over the years you've seen that the average attention span of everybody is changing. Right now, people are more tuned towards fast. Everyone is on a clock essentially. So people don't want to sit down for long. People have made comments like it's only lazy people that will sit down for 2 hours to watch a film. Like for me, people call me lazy because that's my job, but I get paid for it anyway. So yes, the attention span for people has changed. What's important is it doesn't really matter depending on the story you are telling. I think there are certain stories you can tell it in 5 minutes and you are done. There are certain stories that you can tell it in 10 minutes and it would be enough. The audience will be fulfilled, or whoever is watching a film would enjoy it. There are certain stories that you need to take your time, build characters, develop the characters, get the audience emotionally invested in the characters. It will take long. Have a plot twist, then eventually a climax that is worth everybody's time. So that could take longer. So yeah, it really depends. But at the end of the day, it's a story. I would say if you are able to tell your story within, I've been to Ghanaian film premieres that I felt like in 1 year, right? And I've been to some too that I'm like, wow, this film ended too quickly. I wish there was more. You see, so yeah, it's debatable, but the audience and their attention span, again, it depends on the format, because people, even on social media, people are looking for quick, digestible content that they can just watch. 5 minutes, they are done, they move on to the next thing. If it's a long video, they are not even going to bother about it.
Watch it. Anyways, ladies, gentlemen, thank you very much for gracing the set and having this very, very interesting conversation. I've loved every single bit of the conversation, to be honest. When are you coming up with a new project?
I'm on set, but I really don't know when it's going to be done editing and when it's going to be out. So I don't know.
So when are you looking forward to like bringing it out? Like, what's the projected time, if I'll ask that? Next year?
It depends on the producer, honestly.
Oh, okay. All right.
Madame is out now.
But anything?
Yeah, Madame is showing now.
So Madame
Madame is showing now on DSTV and on GoTV. So.
But are you the Madame? You are the
No, I am not the Madame, but I'm a different Madame in Madame. I am Mrs. Potofi in Madame.
All right. Anyways, and then Sicho, anything you're working on now, or now you're like you're relaxing small?
Oh no! Also, Madame is showing now because we are both in Madame. But aside Madame, I'm not working on anything currently. But we are working on pre-production for something else.
Pre-production for something else. Do you want to let the cat out?
Oh no! No. Come on,
sign a contract.
NDA, NDA. Anyways, but tell me which movie like next time you to let's rate. But is rating actually important?
This matter you ask. I think it's important. It's Where's my camera? Let me look into the camera. I think it's important that we have conversation around our films, and I play my part. I think that there's no point in you releasing a film and nobody's talking about the film. Like, I can't imagine how I'd feel if I release a film and no one is talking about the film. Like, there's no conversation. Imagine it. Like, there's no conversation, zero crickets. Like, you need to know what people feel about it because it's art, and every form of art is subject to criticism. Every form of art is subject to conversation. People look at paintings and would see different perspective of the paintings. I might see an artwork, you might see something else, I might see something else, and then we would have a conversation, and we might agree or disagree, even music. So I think, yes, it's important that there are conversations around our films. I would encourage more people to take up this role. Don't listen to anybody. If anybody feels like you are doing a bad job, go back, learn, and yeah.
Anyways, this one, director, this one, last one. Does it hurt if you see any of these criticisms? Like, have you seen a criticism where you're like, is this person serious?
Actually, when he what do you call it again? When he rated Evo, my film, I was like, ouch. You know?
And the funny thing was that I helped them in promoting the film.
So
it was like,
everything. So I was like,
I remember the call. Tony, you didn't tell me all these things. You didn't tell me all these things when we're
going back and forth.
I said, I told you I'll watch the film when the film is ready. Everything I see before or after the film is the final product that matters. You understand? Because I could be on your set and see something different, and be at the cinema and see something different. So but you're cool. She's
You're friends now.
I respect him for that because he doesn't do it because you are his friend. If you deserve 3, he's going to give you 3, whether you just spoke to him on the phone. So I was like, okay, it kind of hurts. I won't pretend about that, but it's one of those things. And I actually appreciate that he's venturing into it a lot more, now, and critiquing as many films as he can, because we need that in the industry to grow. Somebody needs to, watch with that fine tooth to.
And it's also that she didn't give me a role. Can you imagine?
She didn't give you a role.
The next time you do inside.
So Ever Part 2 or
something else like she's inside.
Yeah, but Amanda, doesn't hurt when you see like some of these critics and the right things.
I shot a movie with Martha and Ajite, and most of the A-list actors. And when the movie ended at the cinema, the lady said, "Are you that rude and sarcastic?" For me, it was a compliment, because if you believe that I was that rude and sarcastic, from watching the movie, I killed the role.
Wow.
I killed it.
I actually think Tony should get into critiquing actors as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's someone in Nigeria who does that.
So usually when I critique a film, I look for the strengths and weaknesses of the film. So if I feel like, and the acting is part of the film. So if I feel like the film had good acting performances, I'll speak on it. If I feel like one particular actor stood out, I'll speak on it. But if I feel like the person who is the lead who is supposed to carry the story, who is supposed to carry the film, disappointed, of course I'll speak on it, because you are the center of the film. You understand? So but I can't sit down and say I'm picking actors one at. I mean, it will be a lot of work to do.
All right. Thank you very much, Amanda. Thank you, Sicho. Thank you, Tony. Had an amazing time. I had a fantastic. I will go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we have more for you on the chat. Don't go anywhere.